Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to be talking about well maintenance, and we'd like to thank Joel Mack for liking and sharing the podcast. And if you're looking for something good to read, you can check out our home improvement ebooks on Amazon. They're called Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 12.
You think they're good?
I think they're great. Wells date back thousands of years. The hole would be dug by hand, and the wall would be lined with wooden beams or rocks to help prevent the hole from collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
Early wells in the U.S. were dug by hand using picks or shovels, so the diameter had to be wide enough so you could use your tools. And in areas with hard rock, they used gunpowder to help break up the rock. Sure, there were not too many accidents with that. For deep wells, a lack of oxygen was a problem. So one solution was getting tree branches with a lot of leaves on it, tying a rope to it, dropping it down into the hole, and then pulling it up quickly to try to bring air into the hole. Mechanical drilling was first used in 1808. In 1908, Howard Hughes Sr. invented and patented the roller cone bit, and this would pulverize rock 10 times faster than other bits. And he was primarily using this for drilling oil wells, but it made him very rich. The EPA estimates that more than 13 million households rely on private wells for their drinking water, and the regulations that protect public drinking water systems don't apply to privately owned wells. A private well draws groundwater up out of the ground from an aquifer, which is an area of rock, sand, and sediment that's saturated with water. And an aquifer can vary in size, holding enough water for several wells, or it can be large enough to supply thousands of wells. Most aquifers get their water as rain passes through the soil, called the unsaturated zone, down to an area that's trapping the water, called the saturated zone. The top of the saturated zone is called the water table.
Okay.
And for most homes, if you're drawing water out of a small aquifer, it's being refilled with this rain and snow. It can run dry if you're in a drought or the well is over 30 years old. Amazing,
so what are you supposed to do?
So you'll either have to dig deeper or you'll have to move the location of the well. I spoke to Superior Pump. They make shallow well and...
You're not going to spell it?
Superior, Superior. They make shallow well and convertible jet pumps. They said there's 3 main types of well pumps: a shallow well jet pump, a convertible deep well jet pump, and a submersible well pump. And if you have the pump inside your home, it's going to be a jet pump. A shallow well jet pump will have one pipe coming out of the front of the pump, and this is drawing water up to 25 feet deep. A convertible deep well jet pump will draw water deeper than 25 feet, and this will have 2 pipes coming out of the front of the pump. And if you don't have the pump in your home or in a well house, you have a submersible well pump, and the pump is actually at the bottom of the well, and this is usually for wells that are deeper than 80 feet.
Okay.
When the hole for the well is dug, a metal or plastic pipe called a casing is put into the hole, and this holds your plumbing pipe for jet pumps and holds the pipe, the electrical cable, and the pump for a submersible pump system. The casing is usually 4 to 6 inches in diameter, and for a submersible pump, you're going to have 12 to 18 inches of the casing extending above the ground, and you're going to have a cap on this so you can get access to the pump.
How deep are wells?
They can range from, 20 feet to 800 feet deep, depending on your location.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, amazing, huh?
How long do pumps last?
Jet pumps usually last 4 to 20 years, depending on how often it's running, the depth of the well, and
4 years?
4 years, yeah. If it's running all the time continuously, a few of the articles I read said you can burn a pump out in just a few years.
What causes it to run?
Well, it depends on the pressure tank you're using. So whether you have a jet pump or a submersible pump, which should last 8 to 25 years, you've got this pressure tank that stores the water so your pump doesn't have to turn on every time you turn on a faucet, for example. And the tank is going to have an air bladder. As the tank fills with water from the pump, the air compresses, and that bladder is putting pressure on the water in your whole water system.
Mm-hmm.
When the pressure reaches a limit set by a pressure switch, the switch is going to turn off the pump. And now you've got this water in this tank under pressure. And so, and you've got storage. As you turn on your faucet, it's going to deplete the water in that tank. And when it reaches a low limit, the switch will turn on the pump. And there's usually a 20-pound difference in pressure. Most pressure switches will have a setting of 30-50 or 40-60, and it's called the cut on and the cut off pressure.
Okay. How long should that pressure tank last?
Pressure tank should last 15 to 25 years, and the pressure switch is going to fail over time. The electrical contacts get pitted and worn, and then the switch will need to be replaced. So some plumbers are recommending just replace that pressure switch every few years, just as a part of your normal maintenance. And it's nice to have a spare. So like, during the holidays or, when...
On a Sunday night?
Yeah, it's nice because it's something that a homeowner could switch out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to the National Groundwater Association, NGWA, about some maintenance routines. They were founded in 1946, and the CDC refers to their recommendations on their website. The NGWA recommends an annual inspection of your well system with a contractor that's licensed and certified to work on wells. Check that they have liability and workers' compensation insurance. Ask for references. Get a written contract spelling out the details of what you're going to be paying for.
Right.
And you can go to wellowner.org. It's WELLOWNER.org. Click on the tab that says Find a Contractor. Enter in your zip code, and you can find a qualified contractor in your area.
Oh, that's nice.
The inspection should include a flow test to determine the system output and the pump performance. They should be checking the pressure tank, the pressure switch, and make sure everything is up to code. You should have a water test for bacteria, nitrates, or any other problems in your local area. And you should ask about any local problems with wells in the area. The pipes, valves, and electrical connections should be checked. Get a written report and the results from the water test. And then any recommendations for cleaning, disinfecting, or adding filters.
Okay.
Keep all the records in a file for future inspections so you can compare the results. If you're a new homeowner, you should get a well log. This is going to have all the information on the well's construction, the soil makeup, what the depth of the well is, the type of casing, the water level, any tests that were performed, and if screening was used, and a bunch of other information. Contractors have to file this report with the state in most states, but you should have a copy.
What if you don't?
I would check with the state and see if you can get a copy.
Okay.
Routinely, you should be checking the cap of your casing if you have a deep well pump. The cap should be a minimum of 12 inches above the soil, and the area around the casing should be sloping away from the pipe.
Why?
So that water doesn't pool there, contaminants can pool there and potentially get down into your well. There should be a concrete pad also around the well casing. You shouldn't have any gaps or holes next to the casing. The cap should be tight and have screening to prevent animals or insects from getting into your well. And if you have any of these problems, you should call a professional to fix them. There shouldn't be anything hazardous around your well. The NGWA recommends maintaining a safe, clean area of at least 50 feet all around your well. Never dump paint, pesticides, fertilizer, oil, or any other chemicals over your well. Check with your local health department for any recommendations in your area. Some soil types will allow chemicals to easily reach your well, depending on the depth of your well.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Keep weeds, trees, and shrubs 10 feet away from your well, and it should be marked to prevent it from being hit if it's close to a driveway or a road, especially if you're in an area where you get snow. You don't want it to get hit with sleds or snowmobiles, because a damaged casing can allow your well to get contaminated.
Okay.
You also want to keep dog runs or animal pens away from your well. Oregon State University recommends installing backflow protectors on all of your outdoor faucets. Limit the chemicals on your lawn, especially around the well. And if you have a well house, don't store chemicals in it. Pesticides that can easily dissolve in water and don't bond to soil well can actually reach your groundwater. They say sandy soil and lots of rain could drive certain chemicals down into your well water.
Really?
They recommend looking for the groundwater advisory on product labels. One label I read said this chemical may leach into groundwater if it's used in areas where the soils are permeable, particularly where the water table is shallow.
Okay.
Have your well inspected by a professional if there's a change in the taste of your water or cloudiness. If the pump sounds different or has a burning or chemical odor, you should have it checked. Don't try to service a submersible well pump if you don't have the training. A drop tool can get your pump stuck, and homeowners have been electrocuted by the wiring. Cleaning and disinfecting should only be done by professionals. You can make your water undrinkable.
I'm not a fan of wells.
Yeah, city water is much easier. If your hot and cold water is giving off a rotten egg smell, it can be hydrogen sulfide. And this is gas from a chemical reaction in soil and rock, or it could be sulfur bacteria in your groundwater. It's usually not a problem in small amounts in most homes, but you should have your water tested. Plus, it's just annoying. There are filtering systems you can get to remove hydrogen sulfide gas, and that rotten egg smell could be sulfur bacteria in your water heater if you're only getting that smell from your hot water.
Okay. I was talking to my cousin this morning about her hot water tank because she's getting the rotten egg smell.
Okay.
So it's probably the anode rod, right?
Yeah, usually the anode rod is made from magnesium, and the sulfur bacteria reacting with it creates that sulfur smell, which is pretty amazing. So if she switches out and replaces the anode rod with a zinc aluminum or a zinc anode rod, it's going to help reduce the odor.
You mean when we do a video on it at
Right.
our house?
Yes, on our Fix It Home Improvement channel. And you should actually check your anode rod every few years. Some manufacturers recommend every 3 to 5 years you should check it, because when that dissolves, and it dissolves because it's a sacrificial rod
Right.
to help protect the inside of your water heater, when that's gone, your water heater is going to start rusting out. So you want to keep replacing that. The water temperature is interesting. So the Department of Energy recommends 120 degrees Fahrenheit to reduce energy costs. The Consumer Product Safety Commission recommends 120 degrees, and that's going to help prevent scalding,
Right.
especially if you have kids or older people in your home. Anything above 140 degrees is going to kill the bacteria, like the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease.
Right.
If the water is 140 degrees, it'll kill it in 30 minutes in your tank. The hotter the water is, the faster it'll kill it. And for the...
Right, but you're going to scald yourself.
Well, I mean, you just got to be smart. I mean, when you're using your shower, you're blending your hot and your cold water. But if you leave
Yes, JC, I've used the shower before.
So, but you're concerned about kids just turning on the hot water.
Right.
But you need 160 degrees to actually kill the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease, which is interesting. And so for the bacteria, the sulfur bacteria that causes this odor, they recommend turning up the temperature to 160 degrees, leave it on for a few hours, and then turn it back down to a lower temperature, and you can kill a lot of this bacteria.
Oh, okay.
The Minnesota Department of Health says you should be testing your well yearly for coliform and E. coli bacteria. You should test yearly for arsenic and test every 2 years for nitrate. Test your well at least once for arsenic and once for lead. Test for manganese before infants drink well water. High levels of manganese can cause problems with memory, attention, and motor skills, and it's been linked to learning and behavioral problems in children.
Wow.
Yeah. I spoke to Aquair Pumps. It's ACQUAER, and I asked them about maintenance for pumps, and they said there is very little maintenance required for most pumps.
Really?
But they did say, pay attention to the sound and if there's any smell. If there is, call the manufacturer of your pump with questions. They say this is something that most homeowners don't use enough, is the tech support with most manufacturers. They say they're very helpful. And they said if you have an Aquair pump, give them a call and they'll help you with not only any questions on your pump and maintenance, but support if you plan on replacing your pump.
Oh, cool. Do you have anything else to add?
If you have a well, it's important that you have a yearly routine and a professional to help you with testing. And it's amazing how important it is to protect the soil above your well.
Yeah.
We want to thank the NGWA for all the maintenance tips. They're at ngwa.org, or you can go to wellowner.org. Aquear Pumps, you can find them at acquaerpumps.com, and Superior Pump at superiorpump.com.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox. You can also listen to us now on Amazon Music. How cool is that?
Very. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks. They're called Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, on Amazon, books 1 through 12.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fixit Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.
Deep.